For this, I was always Patrizia. I always spoke in my accent, and even if I was speaking about things that weren't related to the movie, like I wasn't pretending that,
Right.
Maurizio was waiting for me downstairs. I was still like living my life. I lived it as her, and.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Best Actress Award.
Thank you.
New York Film Critics.
Yeah.
When you hear Best Actress, Lady Gaga, what goes through your head?
It's super emotional, and I could not believe that I won the New York Film Critics Best Actress Award. I was so honored. I feel really grateful. I think maybe because I'm from New York and because I went to the Lee Strasberg Institute to study acting, and I went to Circle in the Square, the conservatory. I don't know that I always get to still talk about what it's like for dreams to come true. I'm 35 now, and I still feel like my dreams are coming true. And I wish to just like say, no one was listening when we were talking off camera about, your start in entertainment, but I know that that it actually is true. If you work hard and you believe in yourself, you can make anything happen.
And the dreams never stop. That's I mean, at least for me, I pinch myself every day I get to do what I do.
Yeah.
I go on a red carpet, you've seen me on a gazillion red carpets. I'm on a red carpet, I'm pinching myself, and I'm like, how did I get here? I deserve to be here, which is a hard thing to say to oneself.
Yes.
How often do you say that to yourself? Like, I deserve this.
I think I always end up saying I deserve this, meaning I deserve to be here because I work really hard and I do the work and I study and I do my homework. I am very close with my director. I'm very close with all the artists that I work with, the actors, musicians, producers. And I think that you can know that you are deserving of something when you put the time in. Otherwise, I don't know that anyone deserves anything. And, we, in a lot of ways, we're privileged or we're blessed to have what we have. But in the art world, you have to do your work for it to be deserving, and I truly believe that. I don't think I could ever feel like I deserve anything that was just handed to me.
Take me back to those days studying New York. Tell me about one of your first auditions you went on that you will never forget.
I did it was like a Lens Crafters commercial audition, and I was a very emotional child, and I was very depressed. And I think that being in a room with cameras and lights like we are right now was something that was so foreign to me that even though I had studied acting, I studied, in a theater. And I didn't take film and television classes. I took theater classes. So once I was in auditions and there was cameras and there was lights, I really froze in almost some type of traumatic way where I couldn't remember my lines. I couldn't remember what actions I was supposed to do. I remember now I was supposed to say something about how I was having trouble seeing, and then put my glasses on and then have them fall off my face as a sort of a nerdy reflex. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't do it, and I couldn't do it because I was too nervous. And someone said something to me during the audition, and they said, their glasses are supposed to fall off at that part. And then I tried it again, but I did it in the wrong spot, and like literally nothing went together. And I think it just took me some time to really understand that when you're acting and when you're working, you are in control of what happens, and that there's so much about it is not performing. So much about it is listening and being present.
You studied theater. When are we going to see you on Broadway?
I don't know, maybe when I write my first musical.
Is that what it would take?
I just think that there's so many amazing musicals, but I love writing music, and I love musical theater, and I know a lot about musical theater, and I know a lot about music, so I think I would really enjoy the process of creating a musical, and I've thought about it for a really long time. Probably mostly because I admire Elton so much, and I admire The Lion King so much, and I view that as a musical that he wrote, and also I think that an acting teacher many years ago said something to me about singing, meaning in theater, and I thought it was really fascinating. I asked them what the difference was between singing a song in life and singing a song in theater, and what the difference was between theater and musical theater. And I thought they had this great answer, and the answer was, in musical theater, the actors and the characters sing because what they're saying to each other can simply not be said unless they burst into song. That you can't convey what you're trying to say unless there's music. And I thought that was such a beautiful way of describing it. And I thought, what if I wrote essentially a play where throughout the play everyone broke out into song because they had to, because they couldn't say what they were trying to say unless there was music.
And that's you as a singer, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
what
my
it is,
life.
right? I was just going to say, you're describing your success.
Yeah, that's my life.
Life
is music for me.
What are your other favorite musicals?
Oh my gosh, I love Godspell. I love like all of Stephen Sondheim's musicals. I love Guys and Dolls. I love Frank Loesser's work. I could go on and on.
Listen, I'm a New York gay Jew.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about Broadway musicals.
Yeah, and I just recently saw Tick, Tick, Boom, which, I mean, amazing. And, I'm so excited for West Side Story. It's just so exciting. It's beautiful, and I have to say that I really truly feel honored to be in the company of all these great films and all these amazing actors and cinema, and this is just the beginning, and I'm excited to continue to do the work. That I feel blessed that I get to.
So let's talk about the film. It's dark. You stayed in character. How do you not take that darkness home with you after work?
Well, unfortunately, Mark, I do. You do? Yeah, I do. And I have a really hard time with that. And I've actually recently gotten to talk with some other actors that don't do that. And I have gotten excited about learning how to be more nimble in that way. But I think also because it was a red zone in Italy, going from set to your hotel room and already just choosing not to break character and then also not having, contact with the outside world, it kind of, it's sort of set up for you to stay in it. Right. But for what it's worth, I was the same way for A Star Is Born. I was always Allie. And for this, I was always Patrizia. I always spoke in my accent, and even if I was speaking about things that weren't related to the movie, like I wasn't pretending that,
right.
Maurizio was waiting for me downstairs. I was still like living my life. I lived it as her, and I brought the darkness with me home because her life was dark, and not all of it, So there would be different days. If I shot scenes all day where she was younger, I wouldn't bring as much darkness home. But when I shot scenes, like the scene with Jack Houston at the school with Domenico Del Sole, like that was hugely traumatizing for her. And so hugely traumatizing for me, and I took it home. But I will say, one of the most beautiful experiences I had with the darkest scene that I shot with Ridley was the scene where she's like holding herself down in the bathtub. And I remember that I stayed down there as long as I could, and when I came up for air, I remember thinking to myself, I want to live. And in the scene, she's asking herself, if she wants to or not, and she's trying to kill herself, but it's shot in this really beautiful way where you kind of don't know exactly what's happening. But I knew, like, my intention as the actress was for her to ask herself that question when she went under. But when I came up, I said, I want to live. So I guess there's a duality that I'm trying to express to you, that there's this darkness that you might take home with you, and also you might have a beautiful self-discovery on set that no matter how dark life gets, you just know that you want to